Welcome to the United Kingdom, a land full of ancient history, beautiful countrysides and lots of potholes. In this new series, I'm building the town of Kingsmere, a UK inspired town with a sprinkle of my own creativity. As a fellow Brit, I have a pretty good idea at how poorly designed UK towns are. I want to turn those poor designs into a desirable town while still upholding our traditional British values, and maybe somewhere that I'd potentially like to live myself, but we'll see. So brace yourselves for too many roundabouts, terraced houses packed tighter than a Tesco meal deal. Welcome to Kingsmere. So this is our map that we're going to be building our UK inspired town on, which is what we're going to call Kingsmere. It's going to be the town name. As you can see, it's plenty of green, somewhat flat land for the main building area, but it's looking pretty good. It's a pretty decent sized map, good sort of countryside going up the hills. Got that nice little road going up the hills as well, and it looks pretty decent. There are a few things that I would like to change, of course, but there are plenty of opportunities for us to build somewhat a UK inspired town. One of the first things that we kind of want to do is look at this road layout, and I'm not too happy with it, so I'm going to change that. So let's have a little look. Okay, that's a little bit better, I think. But hear me out. A lot of you are probably thinking this doesn't look very British. Well, maybe it doesn't. My personal opinion, I think it does. I know plenty of towns in the UK that have these sort of dual carriageway ring roads that link up to quite large sort of roundabouts that take you to different parts of the city. They are the main routes to get you around, the arterial routes that get you through and around the city. I haven't added in any huge motorway. The kind of vibe that I'm going for are these are dual carriageways, and they are named after dual carriageways because they're A roads, and I think they look alright. It was a bit of a pain getting turning these into roundabouts though. Obviously it would make sense to have a ginormous interchange, but I don't think that's all that British. And then if we take a look over here as well, we've got a few different layouts here. As you can see, we've kind of set the kind of idea for where we're going to be having some housing, maybe some bigger buildings. I have kind of got ideas and inspiration for each of these big gaps that we've got. We've got this small cycle lane that runs through the middle. Don't ask me why I've done this, but I think once we detail it a little bit, it will look quite cool. And then again, more housing over here, and for this area I want to have some like industrial, not industrial, but like a retail park sort of area, so like supermarkets, takeaways, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, interesting. Let me show you what we've renamed our roads. So I want to have as much detail as we can in this map, and that includes renaming roads, allocating districts and all that good stuff. So to begin with, we've got the A1, which is the main arterial route. This is the A1. It's a dual carriageway, hence why it's got an A instead of an M. It's not a motorway, it is an A road. And then the A1 basically goes all the way out towards the edge of the map over here. We do have another little road called the A27. These are just random donations from A. No particular reason for the numbers. But the A27 comes in along the coast and connects up here to the A1. And then we've got, just over here, we've got the A4. The A4 runs right into the heart of the town here, as you can see. And it also runs all the way out, all the way up that hill. And we've put a little roundabout here just for future building, so that we know where to kind of maybe put a ring road down, etc. And then we have this road over here, which has been renamed for some reason, probably because I changed some of the words, which is really annoying because I didn't even realise that happened. I had to redo a bit of road and it's changed it all. This can be the A43. And the A43 pushes out up this hill, round a nice bend, and drops out into that map. And all of this down here also remains the A43. And then into our kind of divided roads, we've got the London Road, because every town in the UK has a London Road. And that's the kind of main route, dual carriageway that goes through here. Over here we've got North Road. This is because I've chosen that this way is north. Whether it is or not, who knows, but I've chosen that way as north. And we've got Bridge Street, just because that's a bridge. We thought we'd name it Bridge Street. And we haven't got round to naming all of the little cul-de-sacs just yet. This is a White Stone Street. as well. So yeah, lots of cool little things going on here. Lots of interesting places. I hope you like the road layout. I know it probably looks a bit weird and daunting at the moment, but once we get into actually building, hopefully it'll look quite good. So the first area that we're going to be working on is this area which I will just box off to begin with. So we're just going to follow this main road round. It's basically going to be everything that's included in these roads here, as you see. On the outer perimeter, we're going to have a different district, but for the time being, we're going to have this one, and I'll show you the name once we rename it, like that. So just that little district here, we're going to rename you. And obviously our town's called Kingsmere down here, but this area is going to be called Kings Park. So Kings Park, just like that, Kings Park. That's going to be this sort of area that we've got here. Now there's a few things that we want to do. I've tried to make some space for various different things. Like in these sections here, we're probably going to look at terrace housing, possibly around here as well. Maybe some semi-detached housing around this area. These ones around the outside are going to be mainly detached, etc. But first things first, I've deliberately left a few spaces here. So let's think about what we're going to be doing with those spaces. Now, as you probably know, Asset Editor has been released, and we've got this awesome asset called the local cricket ground. And as you can see, it magically fits perfectly into this little gap that we've got here. Just like that. And there we go. That is just a fantastic, and this can kind of be the Kings Park Cricket Stadium, is what would be quite cool. So we'll call this Kings Park Cricket. We'll call it Ground. Kings Park Cricket Ground. There we go. Fantastic. And I think that'd be quite a nice kind of building to have right in the middle of this kind of housing area, Kings Park. So that's a nice little addition. It will obviously look much, much better once we start detailing, decorating it. The next things we want to look at are some schools. So we've got a UK suburban primary school, which will actually, we wanted to go right into this gap here. We might have to anarchy it on and then move it, otherwise it's not going to quite go in how we want it to. But just like that, it might fit in. And this looks so British. It's actually scary. I'm getting flashbacks, man, help me. So we're going to upgrade these straight away, and we're just going to make this quite a decent size capacity, and that will just fit into that area here, which is good. We're just going to get the foundations down first. So school, Kings Park, and then, can you guess? If you guessed it, well done. The nice secondary school is going to slap right in this beautiful gap that we've left here. Oh, look at that. It lines up perfectly with our crossing. How fantastic. It's almost like it was planned. And this is a cool secondary school. This looks very, very British as well. It does have a lot of similarities to the school that I grew up in. Just your standard, normal, everybody go-to school, not a private school, I can tell you that much. But yeah, I think those three things here already make this Kings Park area fantastic. So we're going to rename these two. So Kings Park Secondary School. And then we want this one as Kings Park Primary School. Just kind of keep with the vibe. Try not to get distracted with forgetting names. And what I'm actually going to do here is, I think this road, Silverbrook Lane, can actually be called Kings Park. Kind of makes sense. Just to kind of have the road name of the area in there somewhere. And why not have it in the area that's connecting up all of the schools? Fantastic. Now, this is already looking so much better, which I'm really happy with. And the first part that I want to try to work on is this little section here above the cricket ground. And to me, this small section makes sense to have a few shops, like mixed shops. So like your local shop will be there, like a chippy or whatever you want, just in this kind of nice little area here. I think it kind of makes sense, to be honest with you. So we're going to try and find some nice mixed housing that could potentially get into this area and then go from there. So I'm going to try and find the buildings, we're going to pick them all out, put them all out, and we're going to decide what fits in here the best. So the first shop that we're going for is actually a signature building. I think that looks really nice. It's kind of the right sort of vibe that we're going for around here. It actually fits pretty much perfectly. We just need to dot a few more buildings in here, hopefully make it look a little bit nicer. And obviously it's a little bit uneven because the asset here doesn't necessarily agree with this. But we're going to try and run with this sort of theme, fill in a few more houses and potentially fill in the gaps with maybe some parking, etc. So I'm going to pick a few more buildings and see what we end up with. Okay, we're making progress. The only problem is I've just realised everybody's started to park on the street, which, I mean, it is very British. People do just park on the street wherever they want. They just dump their cars. But I don't really want them parking on the street, I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit annoying. But this is what we've done. We've just obviously added that signature building that we're aware of. And then we've got, just around the back, we've added a few paths that go through here, a couple of trees, a little car park and a little bike storage area as well, just to kind of fill in that space a little bit. But I think that looks quite nice, actually. We just want to fill out the rest of this gap here. Hopefully the terrain around this area is a little bit better, a little bit nicer. So I'm going to try and fill out this area, see if we can think of an alternative to this parking, and then go from there. We're just doing a few touches up here, just making sure all of this sits pretty flush with the road as much as it can do. So it looks like the pavement kind of goes the whole way over like that, which is great. Those look pretty good. We just need to mess around with this space at the back a little bit. So what I might do, again, similar sort of thing. There's loads of alleyways in Britain, which is why everybody probably gets mugged all the time, but it is what it is. We don't want to change too much to come away from our culture, do we? So just a little pathway out the back would be fantastic. To be honest with you, there's not a massive amount that we can do with this space that we've got here, other than potentially see if we can squeeze in a few more bike slots. Something like that could probably go into here if we drag it over to the appropriate corner. Just like that. Could we fit another one in? Yes, perfect. We can fit another one in somewhere. It's facing the wrong way. We want it to. We want that to go in, but it just doesn't want to really play ball with us at the moment. I wonder why they've gone slightly skew on the shape, but it'll be fine. No dramas at all. Plenty of bike parking there. And then we just want to drop a few oak trees in of various sizes. So we'll have a small one there. A nice one there. Autosave. We'll have a big one there. Small. Maybe a big one there. And then a big one there, big one there, big one there, a little one there. Probably don't need another one. I think that'll probably do. And I'm tempted to bring these surfaces out so that they join up with the pathway as well. It kind of makes sense, and it'll make it easier for everybody to put their bins out when it's bin day. I don't know if everybody else calls it bin day around the world, but in the UK, or at least me personally, I certainly call it bin day. Cool. Now let's just have a little look at this, and I think that looks pretty darn tootling if you ask me. I love that. I think that looks very British. A nice curved bit of housing. You don't really get much housing, that's definitely shops, but I can relate to this, to be honest with you. If I could travel around some of the towns and villages near me, it probably is relatively similar. Not too bad at all, to be honest. I think that's quite a nice little fit into that gap that we've got going on there. I think that's a pretty solid first effort. Before I went into this cinematic sort of mode, I did notice that we need a hospital. So we need to find a location to put a kind of just general GP. I'll be honest, I didn't really plan a spot for the GP, but I think this will be just fine. I don't really see any issues with that one. Kings Park medical practice. That'll be your local GP should you wish to get a health check. We're going to add these things to it because we're probably going to need them at some point down the line. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just path out around the back here. To be honest, we could bike lane it, to be fair, and then link up to this bike lane if the game doesn't break whenever you do anything with bike lanes. It doesn't look like it wants to play ball really. Let's try again. So we just connect that up to here and hopefully link that up to there. That should just be alright, hopefully. Yeah, that works, doesn't it? That's a bike lane if I've ever seen one. Good, fantastic. And what I might do here is I'm just going to go and put a little bit of dirt in this little corner that we've got here. And then we'll put some trees on top of that just to spice up just a little bit so it doesn't look too grassy everywhere. So just a little bit of that, and then we go with our trusty old oak trees just through here. A couple smaller ones will do, just along the edge. And there we have a little GP for everybody to use, and the moaning light has gone now, which is fantastic. Love to see it. Good, that's looking quite nice already actually, isn't it? Already looking pretty smart. Fantastic. Right, let's think about what we're going to do next. So I'm going to start off this area with these small sort of terrace style houses. I'm going to have these along this side and along this side. And that's what we're going to kind of go with initially. So what I'm going to do, I should have left enough space here to allow me to put one on each side. It does get a little bit funky, I must admit, with the terrain and the assets and stuff, but it should be a little bit, just enough space to fit in these on each side. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to fill in these gaps. Sometimes they're going to fit perfectly, other times they're not. So we're probably just going to have to place them down, and then we're just going to do the shuffle. We're just going to shuffle them along like they're meant to be together. Sorry if that pulled on anybody's heartstrings. But yeah, I'm going to do this and see what we come up with. Looking good, looking good. As you can see, we've got a few little terraced housing just along here. Just like that. And I think that looks quite nice. We've had to switch up slightly at the end, just about the block spacage, and we've managed to fit a small little bike section in there as well, which is great. We've done similar over here on this side, same sort of vibes, just kind of the reverse way round, which I think it looks quite good, and this is actually coming together quite nicely already. It's starting to feel more full and more homely, so it's positive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by just completing this section, this side of the bike lane, so within the little ring road where we've been building so far. So we're going to complete that little section, and then we're going to go from there. It'll just be full of various different types of housing. So that's the plan. I'll crack on with that, see how we get on. Hopefully it starts to look a bit British. And another little progress update for you. So I've decided in this corner here to go with a little kind of low rent style flats section just on the corner of this roundabout. As you can see, it's getting quite busy down here with all these people street parking and autosave. There's a little pathway complex within here, and I've just put a few trees and surfaces as well. And then as we come out of here, we've got the bike lanes wrapping around within these houses. A little bike shed right at the end, and then we've got these small sort of semi-detached houses just alongside the road here. That's quite a nice car for this kind of area. Fair enough, fair play. I salute you, sir. But yeah, I think that's looking pretty decent if you ask me from above. I think that all fits in pretty well, to be honest with you, in that area. We just need to fill in this gap here, and then we'll work on filling in that section over there. And then that little bit should be just about done, and we can continue onwards. Okay, so we've completed the opposite side as well now, so just a variation of small semi-detached and some low rent housing, but that area looks pretty good to me, to be honest. I think that looks like quite a good start. I'm pretty happy with how that's kind of turned out so far. It's quite nice and detailed in my opinion. I think it looks pretty good. Certainly fits the kind of vibe of being in the UK. I think that looks really, really good. Nice beginning. I'm going to try and do something with this cycle path. Not sure what just yet, but we're going to try and figure out how we're going to make that blend in. Probably just a few trees, etc. around it to make it look a little bit nicer, fingers crossed. Now we've made a few changes with this central part here with the bike path. We simply just lined it with a variety of trees, as you can see, and that branches all the way down towards the secondary school over here. This area is now filled out, which looks fantastic. We've got people using the school. It's all coming together quite nicely. We've added a small pub just here for our lovely residents to use, the Fox Inn, as well as a small dog park for whatever reason. And then we've continued to fill out some of the gaps with a few houses. We've added this small water tower because, believe it or not, they do exist in the UK. We have water towers that look very similar to this, and sometimes they're just dumped in the middle of a town. There's certainly one near me, so it's here. And the most important thing of all, though, of course we've got a McDonald's. Why would we not have a McDonald's? This is the UK that we're talking about, and primed and ready right on the roundabout as well, so pretty good. And it's close to the school, so yeah, definitely worth it. There are two different types of McDonald's now. I've gone for this one because it's slightly smaller, so it's easier to fit into this slot that we've got, but nevertheless that looks pretty fantastic. And the city is coming along quite nicely. It's definitely developing quite nice, and it looks somewhat natural. But what I wanted to do is, obviously we've got Sully's Brickworks here, and they autosave. They do fit into most cities. I'm wondering if we actually just run some of these down here alongside the main road, just to kind of see how we get on. I might just have a little look at them all, because they do fit the theme, I think. I'm probably not going to go for the level 5 because the level 5 is quite large, but if we just go with a few of these, I think this could actually end up looking like it somewhat fits. To be honest with you, it might fit, so let's just have them there. They look all right. I mean, they look fantastic, but whether do they fit there is another question. I don't really know. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe we'll leave them there for the time being. Or do we? Oh, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't know what to do. Oh, gosh. Help. Right, maybe we'll get rid of them for now. We'll see what we can pick out of the mixed use British pack. And kind of see what we got. Let's try and zone some level 5s and just see what we can kind of run down this little strip here. I think they're all, as much as they are very British, they're all very boring at the same time. There's not much in terms of variety for anything other than residential, really, if we think about it properly, because it's all kind of the same sort of thing. I mean, it is very British, I will give you that, but there's only so much of this kind of style of things that you can put down, isn't there, really? But I mean, we can try and fill it out all the way to our footpath there. I mean, it is British and they are commercial, so I think, to be honest, they could probably stay there. I wonder if we can fit in any small parking spaces out the back here. No, they're slightly too big, a bit annoying. Yeah, they're all quite large, which is a bit of a shame, really. It'd be nice to fit in a few parking spots there. And the only alternative is, can we get an alley with some parking on it? I mean, we can do that, potentially. Man, I'm probably going to say no. Unless there's a alley with one-sided parking, which there's not. And I'm not ready to start attacking Road Builder either right this second. So maybe we'll just try and decorate that a little bit better with maybe some paths or something similar, so it doesn't look too bizarre. Maybe we'll have a nice little pathway that goes along here, like that, and then we can maybe bring down these textures to here, so it looks like they're filling the space properly. Well, the people walking down here, that's crazy. Busy, busy. So if we fill out all of these textures down here, hopefully, maybe it'll make it look a little bit normaler. Can't really guarantee anything because I genuinely have no idea what's going to happen. Oh, we've just killed one of the textures. Fantastic. Just keep doing this. Congratulations, you've created a new home. I think that looks fine with those all dragged out, actually. I think that's quite a decent plan. So I don't really know what's going on there, though. That just does not want to click at all. How? So, oh, man. It's all going wrong. What's going on? Right, stop it. Behave. Let's see if we can bring all of these down and make them fit the road. Hopefully we won't have any more issues. It doesn't matter too much, the 90 degrees for this in particular. This one does. There we go. That looks a little bit more like it's meant to be like that now, kind of. Yeah, it's fine. And nothing that a few trees won't fix. So we'll do a few trees and check back in to see how it looks. That looks much better in my opinion. I think that looks somewhat fitting. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. We still haven't decided on what we're doing with this parking yet. Whether we just boot everybody off parking on the roads or whether we leave it. So maybe comment down below what you think. Whether we should maybe change these to bike lanes to assist with our biking infrastructure. Or whether we just line it with trees. Or we just wide pavement it so nobody parks there. Let me know what you think. But moving on, we're going to start putting some terrace housing in here, just filling in this space, trying to make it look somewhat okay. So that's the plan. So we're going to find said terrace housing. This is getting a lot of use, this walkway, which is quite nice to see. Yeah, we're going to find some nice terrace housing and we're going to fill in all of this little gap that we've got here. It's all prepped, ready and waiting. This centre bit here is not going to be any housing. This is going to be kind of a green sort of area. So we'll just green that out. That good. And then I'm going to find some terrace housing, and then once we decide what we're doing with this, we'll decorate that. Okay, nearly there with the terrace housing. Hopefully this looks all right. Let's have a little look. Let's spin it round. I don't think that's too bad at all. I think the houses themselves look quite cool. We've got the little walkways between the back of the houses, just for aesthetic purposes and convenience purposes. We need to do something about this central kind of grass bit, but we'll get around to that. But I think these terrace houses actually look quite cool. They definitely fit in pretty well, in my opinion. I think they're quite nice assets. Yeah, it looks pretty decent to me. I'm kind of happy with that, I reckon. I'm pretty happy. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. We'll take that. We will take that very much. We just need to decide what we're going to do in this central bit. I'm wondering if we can fit any parks or anything like that down this centre point. or maybe we'll just have it as green area, but I'll have a little look through the parks and see what we can kind of put together. So within this central section, we've gone with a couple of parks which are already full of homeless people, which is very desirable. I'm sure lots of people would want to move in here. A couple of parking spaces and another park, just so that they kind of match, and I think that's actually quite a nice sort of fit, to be honest with you. I don't think that's too bad at all. So we'll keep that. We want to fill in this section here as well. I'm undecided on what we're going to put in here just yet. Potentially, I don't know whether we're going to try and spin some terrace houses down here, or whether we're going to put some semi-detached. I'm not entirely certain just yet, but this is looking fantastic. Wow, we are. I think this is quite a nice idea, trying to have this just slightly curved round this way. And I think that probably would be quite cool if we did that the whole way down here. So I'm going to try and do that and just kind of see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'll show you how I'm doing it. So we just plant random houses down here, and then we just take them one by one with Move It and try to line them up as best we can in a curve, because they're never going to curve round perfectly, are they? Because the zoning, etc., is just not designed for that in the game at the moment. So we just kind of do what we can, and then when you get to the end and it's just a little bit too big, we just try and sneak it in. Just see if we can sneak it in on the end somewhere where all of our lovely warnings disappear, and trust the process. It's probably never going to work now because I'm trying to do it showing you, but it will work. Whether we like it or not, it will work. If it doesn't, we'll smash the house down. I think that's the way to do it, isn't it? So, come on. Oh, there's only one. Come on. Yeah, I think we're having a bit of a sticky one, actually. Annoying. Annoying. Maybe we'll just have to play shuffle the houses and see if we can end up making enough room. There we go. That'll have to do. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, however, it is achievable, so we'll continue that flow of things down here and just see what happens once again. I'm not going to show you it all again this time because you kind of get the gist, but I will show you the end result. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, I like the way that that's turned out. I added a few shops right on the end one, just to break up the housing a little bit. It looks pretty cool. It's quite a neat sort of idea. I'm happy with that. I think that looks quite nice. And we just need to decide on what we're going to do with this final gap then. It would make sense to have it as commercial given the location of it, close to one of the main roads, the London road to be specific. But I'm kind of undecided. I'm not sure. I don't know whether to have a few houses on the inside and then a few smaller businesses on the outside or what. I'm quite undecided at the moment. So we're just going to have a little think about what we're going to do there, and then once we have an idea, we'll implement it, hopefully. We're actually making money for the first time. As you can see, this arrow's gone green and we're plus £2,000. I was not expecting to be winning, making any cash, to be honest. So I'm quite impressed. I've impressed myself. How are we making that money? Taxes, mainly? Yeah, mainly taxes. What's losing us money? Mainly the education, isn't it? So, yeah. But once we start filling out, we should actually make quite a bit more money, but I'm quite surprised that we're making cash. In relation to this roundabout, I struggled to find anything that I'd want to place around the roundabout. So we've just gone with some trees and we've extended the walkways out the back. As you can see, everybody's flying down here to come and do their shopping on the high street, which is really nice to see. And that looks quite cool. I just need to fill in this gap, and hopefully our Kings Park area of our new town of Kingsmere will be somewhat complete. But let's fill in these gaps. I'm unsure what to do down here. Probably just some residential along here, or it can just be a park, to be honest. Let's have a little look. I mean, we could actually utilise the space for some parking because we basically have none. So I'm thinking whether... what's actually going to give us the most space? It's probably these. I mean, that fits all the way through. Should we go with some parking? Because we need it desperately. I think that looks crap. Oh, can I say that word? Oh no. What have I done? That's the end of my career. Oh wait, I haven't... it's not my career yet. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Panic. Anyway, just forget you ever heard that. And we will cross a nice little path down here, please. There we go. So that they've got a connection. There's one there, which is fantastic. And what we'll do is we'll put a couple of these small parking spots down here. Oh, just want you to be similar, like that. Oh my gosh, that always happens when it autosaves when I move. I've changed the autosaves to more frequent because my game was crashing quite a lot earlier, and I would hate to lose all of my progress, so that's why there's probably more autosaves than usual. Be nice if we could link that up here and then potentially link it back down to here. Perfect. That's good. And then this sort of area, I might just put some parking for bikes. Oh my goodness, they're all massive. That's 2x2, that's 3x2. So I'm going to put a couple of these, one there and one there. And the rest of this is simply just going to be bathed with trees. In simple terms, bathed with trees. So we'll grab a nice variety of trees and we're just going to plonk them all in here. And once we've done that, you can look forward to the cinematic. And here we are, our new King's Park, the first episode of our British build in the town of Kingsmere. And although we're moving very fast through the edges of this estate, I think it's quite actually satisfying. I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with the way that it's turned out. I was a bit unsure to begin with, reasons being that for commercial buildings, etc., there's not a huge amount of variety, but there's loads of residential. So we're kind of very much beefing it out with a lot of different assets, using bigger assets to fill in space, which is working out really well. For example, the cricket club. Oh, autosave right in the cinematic. Disgusting. And yeah, I think it's just come along really, really nicely. The cricket stadium is coming along really, really well. And as we go through here, you see our doctor's surgery, our lovely terraced housing in the background, the little pub, and the water tower with the small primary school. Looks really nice. I'm really happy with it. I don't know whether I'm going to do the upper suburban housing next or the retail park. I'm not entirely sure. But let me know what your favourite thing about this build is. I've really enjoyed building it, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it. It's always a bit scary on the first episode of a new series, something that I haven't really done before, but I think this build is pretty fantastic if you ask me. And also, let me know what we're doing about this road parking, because I don't want them to park on the road. But look at this beauty. What a lovely, lovely estate. Personally, I would probably live there. I'm not too fussy. What a fantastic start to our UK build. The town of Kingsmere has come to life. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.